Welcome on to the next edition of Up. My name is Brad Nadalt. This is the Coach Parry Comrades Marathon podcast. As we head towards the Comrades Marathon in 2025, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome our next guest onto the show today. He is no stranger to the Comrades Marathon running community, but an absolute pleasure to have him on the podcast today. Very, very keen to find out a little bit more about him as a human being, as a person, but also about his Comrades journey. And it is a great honor to welcome the 2025 Comrades Marathon champion onto Up, Tete Dijana. Tete, welcome. Nice to have you on.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you.
We are so grateful that we've managed to set this up. We have had some problems recording, and I know you've gone out of your way to accommodate us. So thank you very much for that. We really do appreciate it. But firstly, we are recording this. It is the middle of August. And when we spoke earlier on in the week, when we first touched base, you mentioned to me that you took quite a bit of time off after Comrades 2025. Tell me a little bit about your sort of training since Comrades. Like, what have you done? What haven't you done? I think a lot of us amateur runners need to hear what the champ has done.
After Comrade, I rested for a month, sorry. And then after a month, I went to ABSA to run your city 10K. And it was my first run. Yeah. So nothing much. I just rested, recovered, and then I'm back on my preparation again for a marathon.
I love that. And you say that was your first run. No training runs before ABSA 10. Like, literally, that was your first run. You did not run for a full month.
No, that was my first run.
That is amazing.
And
that is amazing.
Yeah, and I ran 31:28.
So you're saying to me, if I take a full month off, I can run a 31:28. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
I would have to take the rest of my life off if I thought I was going to run a 31 10K. But that is incredible. How are you feeling now? Obviously, you've recovered. You're back into training. How's the body feeling?
The body is fine, but I do have a fatigue because I'm going up and down. Having invitations. If you're a champion, it's not easy. Everyone wants a piece of you, so you have to accommodate all of people.
That was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. How has your life changed? Obviously, this isn't your first victory. You've won it twice now. You had a pretty decent up run last year, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Not last year. Yeah, last year. We'll talk a little bit about the up run and the differences. But how has your life changed since winning the Comrades?
It's changed since 2022. So for now, everything is normal, but I'm not normal as you can say, because now the name, it has the big profile itself. But my life has changed since I've won Comrade from 2022, 2023. Now it's another story. I can tell you.
Tell me a little bit about sort of what was life like before. Tell me a little bit about your sort of where you grew up, your sort of backstory.
I grew up in Randfontein in Masaking location, and then I came to Mafikeng when I came to do grade 6. No, yeah, grade 6. Yeah, and then all my life was this side now until I started to run, and I started to run when I was 15 or 14 years old. Because of I wanted to participate on school competitions, and that's where I fell in love of running.
As a youngster, were you pretty good? As a 15, 16-year-old runner, were you winning races back then as well?
I was a junior, but placing for juniors most of the time, yes, because first year it was difficult because I was a beginner and trying to learn there and there. But second year, yes, and third year, no, everything was all good as a junior. So yeah, I was able sometimes where there's no seniors, I will place first and take first prize for junior and.
Brilliant. And then tell me a little bit about sort of, obviously, we see a lot of progression in runners where they started at the 10K, moved to 21, moved to the marathon, and then to Comrades. Talk to me a little bit about you. You're still fairly young. Why Comrades? What's been the attraction to Comrades?
But I think Comrade now everything was mature to run Comrade, but I motivated by my captain. When I saw him, he was pushing for 2018, and then the same year I told myself next year I'm going to run. In 2019 I went to run Comrade, but my preparation was not that much 100% compared to now.
Talk to me about that first one, because compared to what you're running Comrades now, those are two very different runners.
Yeah, I mean, that time it was lack of quality training. The basics. Me and my former coach, my late former coach, we didn't know the basics, and we just trained for Comrade. We just did the mileage. Yes, the mileage. We didn't know that what we should do, and how many mileage we should put on the legs and so on. And then we just decided to go and run. And surprisingly, I was pushing 50, and I ran 6 hours, 25 minutes, and a couple of seconds.
I mean that's incredible. I mean, top 50 on debut, 6 or just under 6.5. I mean, that's a fantastic run in any sort of stretch of the imagination. But to then come back and have to take an hour off your Comrades' time to win Comrades, I mean, for anybody, whether you are at the back of the field and you want to go from 12 to 11 or 11 to 10, to take an hour off is huge. But at the front end of the field, an hour is almost like, I mean, it seems impossible. What did you do differently? You mentioned you first one, you just ran mileage. Like what changed when things really started to click?
But it's training itself, because now I can tell you, my body was not used to the training that I'm doing now, because 2022 my first Comrade training, I had a lot of needles because of the muscles were not ready to carry the load and so on. So as time goes on, and the muscles now get used to carry the load. Yeah, because the training it's totally different from what I was doing compared to now, because I didn't know what I should do. We were not doing a hill work, speed work. Yes, we were doing speed work, but that the mileage coach believing in that philosophy of I'm not the late the former champion, the likes of Andrew Gillies, all the
Yeah.
those days they were just winning Comrade with mileage, not doing speed work. You can check their times. So you believe on the mileage, not on speed work. But now things has changed. Now we modify mileage with speed, and the quality training that I'm getting now, the training that I'm getting now compared to the one that we doing on those old days, it's not the same at all.
Very, very different. Talk to me a little bit about sort of, I don't know if you're happy to talk numbers, but from say 1st of January to Comrades, how much mileage is the champ doing?
It depends, because my body it's very, very stupid. I can tell you, I can go to the camp unfit, but in couple of 3 weeks, I'm just in the middle of, you know, all fit. So now it depends, because my coach, he knows my body. Now January we'll just prepare for a marathon, and then we'll go to that marathon, and then again I'll just sit and recover and just do a little bit of mileage, because you can see my body is very slim. That's how it is. I can tell you, 2023, I went to runified, and I was super fit. You remember I broke 50 kilometers record, and then Then after I tried to prepare for Comrade, and then I was injured. I went to the camp and I stayed for the camp without training almost 4 weeks. So now we knows what to do. So currently which I can tell you we do per week, it's 150, 140, but depending on the preparation that we are preparing on.
All right, brilliant. And I have to ask this question. We had Gad Stein on the podcast just a few weeks ago, and I was amazed at her long run, the longest long run that she did. So I'm going to ask you the same question. What is your longest long run in the build-up to Comrades? If you're over 50 and want to recover from sessions faster, run pain and injury free, and improve your endurance, then be sure to join Lindsay and I for our upcoming Faster Beyond 50 Masterclass. In it, we'll show you how we helped a 70-year-old run a 47-minute, 18-second 10K and how you can take those exact same principles and apply them in your training. Simply scan the QR code that's on screen right now or click on the link in the description below to save your seat in the training now. We look forward to seeing you there.
It's 75.
75. Wow. That is a long run. It's just amazing how different, and that's, I guess each of us are different. And I think that's the important thing to note is what works for Tete Dijana is not going to work for me, and it won't work for Gad Stein. Like, you've got to find what works for you when it comes to Comrades. It doesn't matter where you finish in the field.
Yeah. It depends, because sometimes it's not about I used to tell people that pace and distance they correspond. It depends. I can run 75 for 6 hours, and that 6 hours still being on my leg. So it depends how you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exposure. I mean, Lindsay talks about that all the time as well, that a 50K run for you is very different to a 50K run for me. The distance is the same, but the amount of time that we spend out there is vastly different. You'll run a 50K way faster than I will run, and the amount of damage that gets done to you versus to me being out there that long is very, very different. So I think that's a very, very important point. And then I have to ask this question because a little birdie told me at the expo this year, you mentioned about your weight, that you're quite slim. I have to know, on Comrades race day, sort of what is your racing weight? How much do you weigh?
38.
38 kilograms.
38 kg. Yeah. Then on 2023, I weighted 38, 22, 38, 2023, 38. Last year I was weighing 38. This year I was even weighing 38.
That's absolutely incredible. I'm going to spill the beans here because we've spoken about it on the podcast, and I'm not sure. So you weigh 38. So you were first on the field. I ran an 11:59:59. So I was one of the last to finish. On race day, I weighed 130 kgs. So there's a bit of a difference between the champ and the person who finishes right at the back of the field. I mean, that's absolutely how for incredible. I think, and I've joked about this before, that we should run this as a handicap race. So obviously, because I'm a lot bigger than you, we should work out the time. So if you're at 38 Ks and you run it in 5:20 odd, I should get, like, I mean, I'm 4 times your weight almost. I should get 4 times the amount of time.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to happen. Tell me a little bit about why Comrades is so special to you as a race. I mean, obviously we know you like racing, but we all run Comrades for our own reason. Why is Comrades special to Tete Dijana?
It's so special. It's a well-known race, and itself you can see it's not the same. It's very unique. I can tell you there's some other people who runs 10 kilometers and they are champion. And myself, when I appear, our appearance are not the same. My appearance is more valuable than uh, the 10 kilometers, 21 champions, and also 42s. So it has most value. I don't know whether you get, like, it's very unique. So it's very special to me because, and itself, my life has changed. Like, I have so many things I can tell you about how my life has changed after Comrade. I have my own house. I have my own, um, my own car. I have small business that I'm running. So, but because of Comrade, I'm still at work. I'm a security guard. It's very special to me.
Yeah, comrades. I always talk about just comrades. To me, on the day is what South Africa could be and should be. That it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. We're all the same. We all have to go
Yeah,
through those 90 Ks and up those hills and down those hills, and everyone's exactly the same, and we all have struggles. And I want to ask you about some of the struggles that you have had. When we spoke to, I spoke to a lot about the mental side of it. Tell me, for you, you go through patches on race day where you're not feeling great, where it's a little bit harder than you thought it would be. Tell me a little bit about the process. It's not always great on race day for the champ.
yeah, but 2023 there was nothing. I mean, 2022 there was nothing. 2023 there was nothing. It's only the bad race that I had last year. I don't know what was going on, but if it was someone else, we could have quitted. But at least I managed to go and finish. That's the worst race I've ever had in Comrade. So this year, there was nothing.
And when the legs are sore and you're feeling tired, what do you tell yourself? Like, what's going on in your minds at that stage in Comrades?
You can't quit. I always tell my guys that I'm training with, and I used to tell them that we even if you are leading, you feeling the pain that the guys are feeling at the back. You also feeling that pain. So now it's about now mental strength and tell yourself, what do you want? Do you want to quit? Do you want the guy from behind to come and pass you, or do you want to win the race? So it's up to you. So we all feel the pain.
Talk to me about that mental strength, Tete, because for me, especially in Comrades, you don't get to put yourself in those situations. It's not like you're racing a 5K and it's over, and maybe in a month you can race another 5K. So you don't get lots of opportunities to put yourself in that position like you do at Comrades. So are there things that you do in training to prep yourself mentally for those times on race day?
Yeah, remember, whatever that you are doing on during training, it's something that you should apply on your race day. And now, during race day, it's a different environment now where you competing with the other guys, and now that's where now you have to apply your mind and see if you can be physically fit, but if you are not mentally unfit, you won't win the race. So
Mm.
going to the race, you have to make sure that upstairs you are very 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 fine, and you know when to apply your tricks, and when to do and you should be able to read the race how it is, because at some point you might think that the pace might be slow, and think that you are comfortable to take a lead, and apparently now you're finding out later that you've gone too soon. So you should be able to read all the situation that is going on during the race, and make sure that when you take a lead, now you are quite sure that now it's all yours, now you can go. So it's all about those things. So you should be mentally fit, and make sure that everything is fine upstairs. You have no stress.
Mm. As the champ going into Comrades, and I'm asking this question because I don't know the answer. So, do you go into a race like Comrades going, I'm going for the win regardless of what the time is? Or do you go, you know what, I've trained for a 5:22 as an example, and if that's good enough on the day, then I'm going to win? How do you approach it? Do you go out with a specific time goal and then see how it plays out? Or are you like, you're going to run the race and you're just there to win regardless of what happens?
But inside of my inside, I would say maybe I will just go and say, like, last year I said no, I was gonna go and win. So it's all about not putting pressure on yourself, on telling other people that I'm going to win, but knowing yourself that you're going to battle for a win, because I cannot go to the camp for 3 months and race and place top 10, or just going to run for fun. So it's all about winning. And as we train together with the team, we're all training for one thing, for a win. At the press conference, I cannot say no. I came to win. You should respect your opponent and to play with their mind and say no. If I get my top 10, then I'm fine. So, but now winning it's a bonus. That's how I put it.
Okay. And talk to me a little bit about the having runners, particularly on race day, that are pushing you super hard. And I think particularly of someone like Piet Wiersma. And I think back in time with Comrades, if you think of someone like Bruce Fordyce, I mean, he was very dominant, but there were guys along the way that pushed him. I think of the likes of Uzziah Charlie, I think of Mark Page, Bob Delamotte, those sorts of runners. And then over the years, there's been champions. I think of the Clare brothers. I think when Bongamus Tembu was winning. How important is it to have runners that push you? And in the last couple of years, Pitt has pushed you very hard. It's been some of the closest Comrades finishes. Do you love that sort of competition, knowing that you've got this guy who's breathing down your neck and coming?
Yeah, well, I like it because it's a healthy competition. And now there's no walkover. You should work hard. He knows when he's coming. I know that Pete is coming. Even if I'm preparing myself, I know that there's a guy called Pete. I should not relate preparing for Comrade. It's not gonna be. I know that the Comrade is not gonna be a walkover. And preparing for Pete again, I know that I should expect unexpected. There might be someone who's gonna come, surprisingly. So now, like now, and now it makes us the race more special, more easier for the commentators to commentate. Now how it is, because now and at the end we end up being friends. He knows now, like this year, around 55, he was panicking, and he wanted me he wanted me to go. He told me that we should go, and then I told him no, it's still early. And then I asked him why, and he got the information that Konkube was leading with 17 minutes. I said no, relax, never mind about that guy. So the friendship now is we starting to have a friendship during the race.
That's amazing. I love hearing that, because I know after the first win there was quite a bit, and I think the media played it up more than you guys did, but there was quite a bit of pit against you, and I'm glad to hear that there is a good, and it's respect. I think it's built on respect. He's a great runner, he knows you're a great runner, and you respect each other for that.
Yeah, make no mistake, that guy is giving me a hard time. There's no comfortable lead.
Exactly. Let's talk uprun. Obviously, the next one is the uprun. Your last uprun didn't go according to plan. What are we doing differently for this one? And obviously, now that you've won the down a couple of times, you want that up one, don't you?
I do want Abran, as everyone will love to win Abran. But there's nothing that is gonna change, because my preparation for 2024, it was still the same for this year, because the different things that last year they tempered my nutrition, and then I don't know who and why. So now this year coming to the race, I make sure that everything it's in order accordingly. So I think even next year I should just apply the very same strategy and try to be more advanced compared to this year. So I think maybe likely I might have up also on the record. I don't know. Only God knows.
It'll be amazing. Talk to me a little bit about the difference. Do you find one easier than the other? What makes them so different?
There's no difference. The thing is that it's from Pietermaritzburg to Devon. It's from Devon to Pietermaritzburg, but they all have the same. They do all do have downhills. They do all have uphills. So more the race the same. It's just that the Devon is down in terms of altitude, and then Pietermaritzburg is a little bit higher than than Devon.
Which one do you prefer?
For now, I'll sit down.
But that's going to change in 2026, I'm sure.
Yeah. Hope
That's the
so.
plan. That's the plan. Tete, I'm going to ask you this question. In 20 years' time from now, once you're done racing Comrades, what would you want to have achieved? If you look back at your younger self and go, man, I had a good career. What are some of the things that you want to have achieved as a Comrades runner and as a runner in general?
Myself, I would love to have a running academy, because currently now I'm just assisting group of youngsters around my place, my area. So it's something that I would love to establish and make sure that everyone is in my academy, and obviously making sure that they're getting a much better education, because education is very, very, very important. So, and make sure that I'm an elite coach, like well known like coach.
I like that. And then speaking of coaching, I'm going to ask for some advice for the novices. So people who've never run Comrades, they're running their first one in 2026 that are listening to this podcast. What advice would you give to the novices?
They must never ever they must have their own time, they must have fun, they must not pace with some other people, stick to your plans and never give up.
I love that. Such valuable advice. Such valuable advice. Tete, as always, I love chatting to you. We are huge fans, all of us here at Coach Parry, and I think the whole of South Africa. We love the fact that you are flying the flag. We love watching you run. And all the best in the build up to 2026. I'm sure we'll chat before race day. But yeah, all the best. Thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations again on an incredible run in 2025.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate for inviting me in your podcast.